Welcome into the Fade. I am Clay Travis. She is Kelly Stewart. We will be in San Francisco on Radio Row for a Super Bowl preview, which will be coming in a couple of weeks from now. But we have got NFC, AFC action Sunday. We're taping this, so you all know, on Thursday afternoon. I'm probably going to be snowed in. So I was going to watch every minute of the games no matter what, Kelly, but this actually has made it even more of a certainty that I will not miss a moment when it comes to kicking up my feet and watching these games. NFL, I mentioned this on the OutKick show, but not only have the games been stellar in terms of you change a couple of plays and any number of different outcomes could have occurred in most of the playoff games, but they are setting records the likes of which have never seen. So I would bet, Kelly, that we are going to see all-time record viewership for both the AFC Championship game, which is starting at 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, and the NFC Championship game, which is slotted for 6:30 p.m. On Fox on Sunday. Okay, with all of this in mind, let's go ahead and dive into the first game, Patriots-Broncos. And Kelly, clearly, Jarrett Stidham, nobody has any idea what to expect. Now, you are a Broncos fan. You guys got the win. Everybody was ecstatic. And then, like, 20 minutes later, Sean Payton comes out and he's like, oh, yeah, Bo Nix broke his ankle and he's out for the rest of the year. So I want you to take that away. What was the swing of emotions like to go from, wow, we won overtime, we're hosting the AFC Championship game, I would imagine, pretty excited, to Bo Nix is out, Jarrett Stidham is in, and sort of the emotional swing there?
So I was having people over. I joked with all my friends, since I was the only one with a team left in the playoffs, we should watch at my house. So I've got the grill going. We're having a good time, making cocktails back and forth, I'm inside, outside, watching different TVs. Broncos win. Just relax, right? I walk back outside. Bo Nix broke his ankle. No, he didn't. That's a fake Twitter account. No, what are you talking about? I rush over to my phone. I'm like, nope, don't believe you. Don't believe you. Saw that Adam Schefter tweeted, and I thought, okay, now it's real. That's the unfortunate part about sports sometimes. They don't go the way that you want them to go, or the highs and the lows can be insurmountable. But the real reality is I think this is a big overreaction, Clay. Yes, Bo Nix has done a good job in his first 2 years with the Denver Broncos. Hand up, I was not a Bo believer. I was very angry at them for drafting yet another mediocre quarterback that I thought was just going to be average at best. He did a great job as an underdog his first year. This year we saw, I won't call it regression, but because they were favored in so many games in comparison to the year prior, we did see some regression as far as against the spread. So I made some money betting against the Broncos. I made some money betting on them. Last week was a great game. I was happy with the result, but let's talk about it. There's some arguments that the Pats would have been 1.5 point road favorites like the Bills were the week before, right? And the Broncos ended up closing out the favorite. There's some arguments that the game would have been a pick'em. That's fine. I have no problem with those previous numbers. But then to march out 4.5, 5.5, I had no choice. I had to gobble up the 5.5, Clay. Like at this point in time, we've got to say there's an overreaction here to the marketplace. Is Bo Nix 5 points better than Jarrett Stidham? And I think the reality is no. And I also think that we have to look at serviceable backup quarterbacks and what we've seen them do previously, especially in the playoffs and or Super Bowl. You mentioned Jarrett Stidham has a big question mark. I don't know what to expect from him. All I can do is hope that Sean Payton is correct, that he knows the playbook well enough and is not going to make mistakes. But I can tell you, there's a theory out there. It's called the injured player theory. And the game after your starting quarterback gets hurt or your starting point guard gets hurt, guess who rallies around? Everybody. This is the NFL playoffs. Do I think that Jarrett Stidham could make some mistakes? Of course. Do I think a receiver could run a wrong route and he throws an interception and the game gets turned on its head? Sure, why not? But I do think this Denver Broncos team, especially the defense, is going to rally around Drake May. We've seen him the last 2 weeks in the playoffs make a ton of mistakes. Again, we can blame it on the receiver. We can blame it on the O-line. But the reality is that's a lot of fumbles in 2 games, plus 2 interceptions. Fine, one was on a Hail Mary. We can argue until we're blue in the face about what he is or what he isn't. I'm thinking he's just a little bit too much overhyped headed into Denver. This is an egregious line. Did I take a little Broncos money line? Yeah, sure did.
By the way, I'm on the Broncos with you, and I'm on the under in this game. The under is my blood bank guarantee. I think the response with Jarrett Stidham in is that they're going to take a lot of the air out of the game and just try to keep it close into the fourth quarter. I am laughing, by the way, because as you were talking, my suggestion to you to book restaurants in San Francisco was being ridiculed by Ariel Epstein on our text chain over the fact that there's not going to be any availability. So let me just say this. Can we clip it? If you are watching this right now and you happen to be in San Francisco and have a restaurant and you have great taste, because there are a bunch of OutKick people out in San Francisco, send me a DM and we will come to your restaurant with the OutKick crew, because I know it's going to be very packed with the Super Bowl going on and everything else. But I would like to give money to people who are fans of what we do as opposed to people who hate what I do primarily. So if you are a San Francisco restaurant guy or gal and you see this clip and you are like, hey, you know what? We would love to host you. Then I would love to go spend my money at your place. So you can slide into my DMs at Clay Travis on Twitter. So we'll see how that works out. And then if you're worried about getting... If you're worried about, and you can slide into Kelly's DMs too. If you're worried about people coming after you, I won't publicize it. But if you want to be known, like, hey, we wanted these guys to come, then I will publicize it. So you'll get free credit. So anyway, just FYI. All right, because you are a great American and you support truth, justice, the American way. You like the First Amendment and boobs, like those things. I still think there are a lot of people in San Francisco who are in that camp. All right, that is the AFC Championship game, potentially dinner reservations as well. Let's go into the NFC. So third matchup. Unlike the uncertainty that might surround Jarrett Stidham and what might happen in that game, we have clearly a lot of data points on how the Seahawks and the Rams match up. If I remember correctly, they split. Am I correct about this, Kelly, in the regular season? I think Matthew Stafford is going to be MVP. Huge, unbelievable, spectacular cold weather game in Chicago that the Rams were able to win in overtime. And now Matthew Stafford going for a second Super Bowl. But first he has to get through Sam Darnold. I'll tell you my pick already off the top. I'm taking the Rams on the money line, Kelly. And I understand I'm not even going to worry about the 2.5 or whatever else it's moving around. Ultimately, this is just my pick on I trust Matthew Stafford and I trust Sean McVay, having been in big games, big scenarios before. We saw last year, and look, I wouldn't even mind being wrong about this because I do think the Sam Darnold comeback story is a great one. But last year, we saw Sam Darnold and the Vikings go out and they didn't play their best. Now, I know they got the win already and they were dominant so far in the playoffs. But I just feel like Matthew Stafford has been through this before. As good as the Seahawks have been, and as great as that 12th-man home field is that they have, still a young head coach on the side of the Seahawks, still a quarterback who has not necessarily won the quote-unquote huge game in the NFL so far. I just think the Rams are playing with house money. I like them as underdogs. They've gone on the road and won a couple of times already. I think they can do it again. Kelly, how are you handling this one?
That's what's in the back of my mind, Clay. I teased the Rams as soon as the line came out with Indiana on Monday night. I know that's one leg already gone, and there's not a lot that you can do with one teaser leg. But I do think this is going to be a close game. Here's my one caveat. I've been betting against Sam Darnold in the player prop market under his passing yard, Matthew Stafford in the player prop market for the last few weeks because he's just getting too much love. The only reason why I went over versus Carolina is because he had to throw for 66 yards on the final drive just to beat the Panthers. Then he got gifted a win by Caleb Williams in overtime last week in Chicago. Sometimes when teams start to fail the eye test for me, Clay, it makes it really hard for me to get to the window with them. But on the flip side, Seattle could not have looked any better last week. It is almost like They looked too good for me to only lay a measly 2.5 with this team. Why is it 2.5 and not 3? And that concerns me. McVay historically been a powerhouse against Seattle, 13-6 against the spread. You mentioned Sam Darnold. He has historically done well against above 500 teams, but that Sam Darnold from the Jets, seeing ghosts in those big type of games, still lingers with me. And I got to think, can big game Sam Darnold show up? He didn't have to last week. Right out of the gate, pick 6. Then they just ran and ran and ran the rest of the game. Kenneth Walker looked like they didn't miss Zach Charbonnet at all. I mean, San Francisco had no answers. Brock Purdy gave them nothing. It was almost like they had a glorified bye week. Then we talk about schedules. You had the Rams play late Sunday night. Seattle was done Saturday night. That's an extra 24 hours of rest. There's a lot to really unpack here. And all of that to say is I want to lay it with Seattle. It looks so easy to just say, oh, why don't we just parlay Seattle money line with the Patriots money line? And I love going against those narratives, Clay. You and I are in lockstep here. I like the Broncos and I like the Rams.
All right, so we're either going to be celebrating or we're going to go over. It's not very often that you and I agree on everything in these big game scenarios. So what else would you say people should know as we get rolling on NFC, AFC Championship weekend? Anything else that stands out to you that you think is useful? Again, that number not getting up to 3 feels a little bit compelling. Do you think we're going to see these numbers move very much at this point, or do you think everybody's going to be watching, 50 million plus people? That always demonstrates, by the way, people who say, okay, how does the size of an audience dictate? Usually the gambling handle, it's not going to surprise people, follows the amount of people who watch a game. If you bet it, you're more likely to watch it. And so the handle is going to be off the charts, I would imagine, for these games. But do you think, barring any huge surprise, obviously, of health or changes here, that we're kind of fixed and the lines are stuck where they are?
I think it would take a lot of money to move Seattle to 3. I think we'll see the money lines move. I do think that we're pretty much going to start to settle at 4.5 there in Denver. And that is because the 5.5 got a little egregious. I want to say somebody jumped the gun, went ahead and laid it knowing they could come back on the other side. Maybe we see a 4 for the Patriots, but I highly doubt it. Again, it just looks so easy. The whole world is going to want to they're going to want to parlay the 2 favorites. And it's just not how the NFL really works. I think we'll see one outright underdog upset this week. And hopefully for us, we see 2.
All right, there you have it. Get your bets in. And if you're in San Francisco and you have a functional brain and you run a restaurant, we would like to spend our money with you. So that will be that. We'll see. We agree. That can be, it's either going to be great or it's going to be bad. But both of us are on the Rams and the Broncos, both underdogs in these games going forward. Kelly, appreciate it. I'll see you in San Francisco. Will be the next time, and we'll do a fade in advance for the Super Bowl, and hopefully we'll be able to celebrate having nailed this matchup in advance. Everybody survived the snow, and DBAP unless you need to SBAP. This has been The Fade.